Okay, so Christopher Hooley challenged me to read a bedtime story. So there's the hashtag writers community bedtime story, and he's asking writers to read a chapter from their book. So I thought I would give it a go. So Christopher, I hope this is all right, and I hope anyone else who's watching is enjoying this chapter from my book, Shine Manifesto. It's available on Amazon. My name's Chris Brock and I'm the author. So I'm going to read from chapter 5, which is a continuum of being. And I start off with a quote from J.M. Barrie, and he said, "The moment you doubt whether you can fly, you cease forever to be able to do it." And that's from Peter Pan. So here we go. So from where we are now at this precise moment, the infinite universe stretches out in every direction. And we, each of us individually, are at the very centre of it. It is impossible for anyone else to be at the centre of the universe because we can only ever experience it for ourselves from this time and place. We are, therefore, not only at the centre of the universe, but the universe is ours and ours alone. And it not only exists, but it exists for us and us alone. The universe is infinite, and we, as part of it, are infinite too. Other people inhabit our infinite universe just as we inhabit theirs. From where they are, at this very moment, they are at the centre of their infinite universe, and it spreads out from them in all directions. And you are a guest in it, just as they are a guest in yours. From each of us, an infinite number of ethereal threads connect us to everyone and everything. Through our experiences, the experiences of others, the paths we cross, and the ideas and the dreams that we imagine, everything that has happened, could happen, is happening, or could never possibly happen, is happening. And we are connected to it in this instant. When we pick up a book, we are connected to the tree whose wood was used to make the paper, the soil from which it grew from seed to sapling to towering birch, and all the animals and people who took shelter in the shade of its branches. We are connected to the paper makers, the bookbinders and the printers who used their skills to turn that tree into the book that you hold in your hands. We are connected to the floor they stood on, the breakfast they ate, the calluses on their skilled hands, and the years of training, of life, of love, of hurt, and of joy that they have experienced. Ethereal threads reach through the book and its pages as if it were a portal that connects us to everyone involved in its making, everyone who has ever touched it, distributed it, leafed through its pages. The ethereal threads connect us to their lives, their dreams, all the things that made them real, and all the things that they imagined. And in doing so, they are real now, today, right here, even if their time was 200 years ago. When we start to read the words printed on the pages, we are connected to the writer as they sat at their desk. We are joined with their thought processes, everything they went through when imagining the words that would become the sentences in their books. We are there, sat beside them as they struggle with writer's block, as they tap their pencil on the desk, gazing out of the window, hoping that inspiration will strike them and that final chapter will take form. We are connected to the characters in their book as if they were real people, their dreams, their motivations, the reality of their imagined existence, their loves, their sorrows, and how they live their lives take form in our imaginations after we put the book down, but their story lingers in our mind for a time to come. These ethereal threads connect us to the writer through space, through time, and through imagination and ideas. And they connect the writer to us. As you read this, we, you and I, are connected through time and space. You are here with me now as I sit at my desk typing out this chapter. You are with me as I wonder where it will fit with the other chapters in the book, as I consider what time I'll get to sleep tonight, if I'll make it to the train station on time, if anyone will ever read this, and if it will make any sense at all. Our ethereal threads are entangled, invisible, but as real as we decide to make them. When we put our books down and step out into the sunshine to walk on the earth, we are connected to the planet, its place in the cosmos, and everyone who's ever walked under the same sky, looked up at the same moon, and dug for riches beneath its surface. We are at the centre of our universe, and it stretches out in every direction from us, backwards and forwards through time, and we are part of this continuum of being, connected to everything by our ethereal threads. These threads enable us to travel to the far reaches of the universe. They enable us to experience the impossible. We can be anyone or anything and anywhere we wish to be by following the correct thread and seeing where it will take us. Our threads can show us what the Sultan of Brunei is thinking. They can show us the emotions our cat would feel if it was to float away in a bubble, or what the food tasted like in the dining room of King Henry VIII. These ideas, daydreams and explorations are the result of electrochemical pulses that travel along our neurons. These are the same pulses that allow us to move our legs and chew our food, but when they fire at a different frequency along a different pathway, they become signals that allow us to use our voices to communicate, to nod our heads and to smile in agreement. At yet another frequency, the pulses become dreams while we sleep, ideas for the future, inspiration, ideas, roadmaps to something better, or to self-destruction. And just as our thoughts have a frequency, so does everything else in the universe. From the rotation of the planets around the sun, to the strings of a violin, to the atoms in a glass of water. If you look closely enough, you can observe the electrons, the protons and neutrons vibrating furiously. And the more energy they become charged with, the more furious their vibrations become. When you look closely, even boundaries break down. And at the subatomic level, it's impossible to see where your atoms end and the atoms in the chair you're sitting on begin. Where the atoms of your feet end and the atoms of the earth begin. All we see are vibrations, energy made manifest. When broken down into its smallest parts, energy is all that remains, and that is all we are. We are vibrating energy in an infinite sea of vibrating energy. We are, therefore, as infinite as the ocean to which we belong, part of the continuum of being, as a wave is to the sea. Bring together two objects that are vibrating at similar frequencies, and the weaker vibration will adjust itself to harmonize with the stronger. When tuning forks are brought together, their frequencies align. When the frequency of an opera singer's voice matches the natural frequency of a wine glass, the glass can begin to vibrate and sing too. If a singer's voice becomes too powerful, the glass can break. A phenomenon that has also been seen when earthquakes topple some buildings but not others, or when, in 1940, a fierce wind matched the natural frequency of the Tacoma Narrows Bridge. As the wind blew through the structure of the giant suspension bridge, it began to swing, gaining momentum until finally the frequency became too strong and the bridge broke apart and collapsed. Strong frequencies can have powerful effects. Microwave radiation agitates water molecules, causing them to heat up and can be used to cook food. Other types of radiation have frequencies that can be damaging to human cells, or can transmit signals through the air to our televisions or to satellites far out in space. Strong ideas can harmonize in the minds of others. Pictures and stories created in the minds of artists, authors and musicians can resonate in the minds of those who are willing to listen. But just like the wine glass that shatters or the bridge that collapses, the resonance of ideas can be damaging. When people who are lost are given an enemy to blame for their own unfortunate circumstances, the boundaries between good and evil can break down as the stronger frequencies force the weaker to harmonize with them, and people forget which thoughts are their own and which have been placed there by others. Ideas of hate resonate strongly, and when people's own vibrations are low, when they are tired, lost, desperate or confused, it is easy for these ideas to harmonize in the minds of those who yearn for clarity, relief, and a focus for their negativity. From here, anger and bitterness and resentment become racism, misogyny, bigotry, and other manifestations of fear. Hate is the junk food of the soul. It provides a tasty treat right now, but it is lacking in nourishment, and ultimately it will starve us. We are all transmitting at a frequency of a certain energy, and there is always a chance that our frequency will harmonize with others, or theirs will harmonize with ours. Much better we choose good energy to harmonize with, frequencies of hope, of kindness, of opportunity and beauty, frequencies of togetherness and betterness. Our vibrations radiate outwards, and together with the vibration of every person on the planet, every object and atom in the universe, they combine to form the resonance of this infinite continuum of being that permeates every inch of this plane of existence. We all have the opportunity to raise this universal frequency by raising our own. What you think today, what you do tomorrow, how gently and kindly you live, these actions have a frequency that influences the universe, that stretches out in every direction from you, that influences all the ethereal threads that connect you to everyone and everything, that influences what your universe will look like tomorrow, and it influences everyone else's universes too. Appreciate beauty and it thrives. Engage in hate and that flourishes too. One builds and the other destroys. It's important that you vibrate at a high frequency so that others might harmonize with you. to raise the frequency of our continuum of being. Be the change that you want to see in the world, and the world will come to meet you. All right, so there is a chapter from my book, Shine Manifesto. That was for the Writers Community Bedtime Stories. I hope you like it. If you want to read more about that, you can check out the book. It's on Kindle or it's on Amazon. Paperback's always nice because you get to hold it in your hands. And I hope you enjoyed that. All right then, so in the meantime, have a great evening and yeah, hope you enjoyed that.